at yesterday, it was above 2,600, okay? In the morning, because people sold stocks overnight and they sold more stocks than they bought overnight, that's why it dropped lower, okay, and it slowly creeps up. That's what the Dow Jones average is, basically, how many stocks are in current circulation being purchased, approximately, okay? Now, the other thing is that the average itself goes up when futures are up. Does anyone know what futures mean? And it's not the wrapper. Futures.
Like how much more you're gonna make with your.
Yeah, how much more you're going to make, okay? How to explain this the best? So more or less, when you're looking at a stock, do you want to buy a stock? Do you want to buy a stock that has already peaked?
No.
What do you want?
Buy low, sell high.
You want to always buy low, sell high, okay? So you want a stock who looks like it will grow, okay? You don't buy a stock that's already basically hit its peak, okay? And that's why these stocks work like this. In the 1920s, this is when stock markets really became really big, and the average person can now do this, okay? And a lot of people are now investing into it. The problem with the Great Depression is this is what happens, is people abuse the stock market, okay? And because of the abuse of the stock market, that's one of the major causes of this Great Depression. So that's what we'll get into. Now, most famous image of the Great Depression that a lot of people see, the classic picture, known as the migrant mother. The migrant mother is, if you see the zoomed in version, they usually do it right here. Her family has completely lost their house. Husband and her lost their job. Okay? And now they are living out of the back of a car that they made a tent with bed sheets. Okay? That's how far they've fallen. Okay? They went from living in a house, having 2 jobs, to having no jobs, and now living in a Niagara bar with their bed sheets sewn together to have basically a lean-to tent. Okay? So that's how far people will fall with this Great Depression. Yeah.
Did big rich people, they lose a lot of money?
Some wealthy people will actually lose it all in the stock markets. Others will basically be financially, we'll call crippled, but they'll continue on. Other businesses will actually continue to surge on. For instance, in the 1930s, while everyone's having an awful experience, Walt Disney, his company is actually growing, making the movies. All the classic 1930s Disney movies that you think of happened during the Depression.
Okay.
What's that?
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because he has exceptionally cheap labor to make these cartoons, and because movie theaters are basically buying the films to pay for, he doesn't have any risk, and he becomes more popular as time goes on because it's a cheap entertainment. So instead of you having to pay for $100 or $200 radio, you can go for 10 cents to go see a movie theater. $200, 10 cents, right? And more people are going to go to that movie than they are to make that investment on the radio. Yes?
Couldn't Tom and Jerry start in the 30s too?
I think so. Tom and Jerry, there was 30s or 40s, and they were, like I said, we were talking about movies. It's more or less the cartoons that we think of, like the classic cartoons, those were all done before the actual movie. So in the 20s all the way up until early the 60s, you would have a newsreel that would happen before the showing time, where they'd show you what's going on globally with the news. Then you'd see a cartoon on the showing time, and then they'd go right into the movie itself. 1940? So some of the long-term issues that pop up here, okay? The growing economic problem, I want you to all this. We have unrestricted stock transactions. What that means is, basically as much stock as you want, whenever you want, you can buy it instantaneously. Now, if you buy more than $10,000 in stock today, you have what's called a cooling period. It's between 15 minutes to an hour when you purchase that stock. The reason being is they don't want you to day trade, okay? Day trade is very successful for you. The purpose of a stock is you are buying shares, as in you are buying faith that that company will continue to build on itself. If you're buying and selling it very quickly, it actually hurts the company. So if the company is very, very large, it does not affect them that much. If the company is smaller and growing, it actually affects them pretty significantly doing these kind of day trade things. Go ahead, Adrian.
So, since the stock market was crashing a lot, was there anybody that, they like put money in against, like they were selling short, basically? Like they were putting money against?
Yeah, so some people initially make the rules themselves. The problem is that these shorts would be done by banks, and when these banks closed, they still lost. Right?
So even people who like bet on them to lose still
Right,
lost?
yes. And the thing was that because of the basically the entire decade, the stock market was only growing, not too many corporations were even doing shorts because no one would buy into it. Why would you buy into something that's only going to grow? And be honest, in the entire 20s, it just surges up. So people are saying, you know, why would we ever short? And that's why a lot of people didn't, because a lot of people didn't know it was coming. Another issue is people buy on credit for stocks. Why is that a dangerous thing to do? Buying stocks on credit. Why is that a dangerous thing to do? Araka?
Is it because their prices fluctuate and then you also have to pay back the interest?
Right, you have to pay back interest. You don't have control of that stock, okay? So like for instance, if a stock continues to go up and you're still doing the payments, that's good for you. What if you buy the stock and the stock is crashing and you've got to get out from under it, but because you don't have control of that stock yet, you have to keep making payments and you keep watching that number go down. You're basically losing money plus having to pay interest on that investment that is losing money. And this is also another one of the reasons why a lot of things are going to be crashing at this time. People are having basically too many luxuries and they don't have enough income to actually uphold those luxuries. And this is going to basically stretch people's incomes to make things worse when the economy does crash. And finally, you've got presidents and government that really are not realizing this credit bubble. Now, when was the last time we had a credit bubble? This was in 2008. Okay, the housing crisis. The issue with the housing crisis was this. The economy was surging after, basically the economy rebounded after the 9/11 attacks in the Iraq War, okay? And so the economy was surging really well, and banks got cocky. One of the most dangerous investments for banks is a mortgage, because basically you're going off of someone that you hope that in the next 30 years will pay off an expensive loan, right? Because think about it, mortgages are between, you know, whatever the cost of the house is, whether it's, you know, $30,000 or $300,000, right? And so that's one of the most dangerous things. Banks were giving out mortgages way too easily. They were giving out mortgages for like $450,000 houses to postmen who were making $40,000. So more or less over half of their monthly salary is based off of the mortgage payment alone, which is not feasible, okay? Average mortgage payment, this is just kind of an FYI for you, a rent, mortgage payment, or any type of payment for a house should be no more than 30% of your monthly income. If you're paying over 30% for your housing in that given month, you are now stressing your budget. Doesn't mean you can't, just means you're stressing your budget. It means you're going to have to cut back on something else, okay? And all these presidents do not really see this coming, and they also expect the economy to just keep surging through, okay? There's some problems that really develop here, which is going to cause this Great Depression. Now, unlike them then, we now have mechanisms in our economy and in our government to make sure this doesn't happen again, that it doesn't crash, okay? The president who gets stuck with the Great Depression is Herbert Hoover. Does he cause the Great Depression, he himself? No, okay? His problem is that the policies that he had in place were not good enough, and he doesn't react quick enough, and the economy just continues to fall. It's not the initial crash, it's the continuation that really caused the problem. You have a question?
Didn't Great Britain have one like right before us?
Yes, Europe has its own depression from basically 25 to about 40. And because of that depression, this is also another reason why Nazi Germany appears, is the economy crashes, Germany looks like it's on the brink of complete destruction economically, and then a leader appears that says he's going to make Germany great again, right? And then resurges it, okay? No pun intended, by the way. Not to make any pun there, yeah. It's actually what he said, so just making statements. Let me get this done. So, some of the causes, there's 5 great causes that happen here. First cause, you have extremely expensive loans and mortgages on farmers. We've talked about this before, and still there's no help. Second cause, people are buying large amounts of stocks on credit. And how it went back then was you could put 10% down and you could pay the rest off. The downside is if your stock crashed, you couldn't touch it, sell it, or buy more until after you have paid that off. Okay? And the last thing is the actual stock market crash that happens October 29th, 1929. Now, when we looked at the stock market this morning, it was 20,559 was the Dow Jones. Imagine if it dropped to 12,000 today. It dropped 8,000 points. Okay, that's what happened essentially in proportion. Okay, so basically stocks would drop. So like for instance, can someone look up McDonald's stock for me? Can someone look up McDonald's stock? No, can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Thank you. He's got this. Just, if you look up,
Oh my god.
if you look up, I think it's MCD. I think is the code.
That's really bad.
Why? Why is that bad?
It's 129.
129.35.
Okay, so $129. Imagine if you bought that stock. Okay. So $129, and you bought 100 shares of it, right? So how much is it?
It's going down though.
What's that?
129,000. No, I'm kidding. It's 12,000.
Okay. So you get $12,900 invested in it. Okay. Imagine if in a single day, this same share, okay, drops to 80. Now how much do you have invested, or how much is your investment? Okay? How much money have you lost? You lost almost $5,000 in a single day. Okay? That was just one example of what could have, what happened during this drop. Okay? You're looking at stocks dropping between 30 and 60% in a single day. And the thing is that you don't have online tickers. You basically had daily tickers. So you didn't even know this happened until it was already completed. Okay? Now, how does this become a major problem? This is why the stock market kind of bubbles. Is because of these two terms, maybe you know, speculation and buying on margin. Buying on margin is the term for buying stocks on credit. Now, what is the good and bad thing about speculation? There's a good thing about speculation, there's a bad thing about speculation. And this is before it became illegal. What's the good part?
I'm trying to remember, but I remember the bad part, but I think it's like if they grow, the more they grow, the more invested in them, the more money you can get back.
Well, what's speculation mean? What's the point of speculation? What's an example of speculation? This is why people actually don't speculate anymore. If you look, if you ever go on stock websites and actually do research, they do not tell you what to buy. They just tell you how healthy the investment is itself. Okay? What is the problem with speculation?
Isn't that what people do anyway then?
What's that?
Speculation, that's how you make money on stock.
Right, you speculate yourself, right? But what's the problem if you have large populations of people speculating on something? The good,
Oh, it'll be
the
biased.
good part is what? Is what you just said.
They'll be biased towards one company.
They'll be biased towards one company and they'll buy that company, right? Now, what's the downside of that? What is the downside if people speculate about a stock and everyone buys into it? What is the downside of that?
Everyone gets hurt when it crashes.
What's that?
Everyone
Everyone
gets hurt.
gets hurt when it crashes. Okay, the other thing is, what the stock does is not what it's supposed to do. Basically, if everyone says, oh my gosh, this company is going to be great, and everyone buys into it, and it doesn't do what it's supposed to, maybe it falters, maybe the invention doesn't work well, okay, and then suddenly it goes from this huge, great stock, and it just plummets. And if people did not sell when it was up high, now they're taking massive hits by it, okay?
How are you not like a millionaire? You.
Because I'm poor.
What?
No, I have no money to invest, despite my own retirement. Go ahead, Judge.
You said that they don't really tell you what exactly like to buy and what's good to buy anymore.
Yeah.
What exactly is a multiple for?
Okay, so a mutual fund you invest in and a stock company invests everyone's pot of money into a combination of accounts, bonds, and stocks. So basically, you invest in this fund and they guarantee you a certain percentage per year. Okay? And so more or less, the more you invest in, the more growth you'll get. And some of these mutual funds, what they can do is they can say, do you want to be in the risky pool? Do you want to be in the safe pool, or somewhere in the middle? And you can choose which pool you're going to be in. So basically, the risky pool could say, we can max out your money by 10%. But if you also be as low as 2%, you take the risk, right? Whereas a safer one will say, you're guaranteed 5%.
Which point do I want to?
All right.
I used to play this all the time.
So, third cause, let's get this down. This is the actual event that starts the Great Depression, known as Black Tuesday. Okay, now Black Friday is much different than Black Tuesday. Okay, does anyone know why it is called Black Friday?
It's because
Why is the
All the power
last Friday in November called Black Friday? Yes.
because on that day all the stores get like their margin of profit before the end of the year or something.
Exactly. Okay, so if this is the line of zero, okay, if you had a positive year, I must use a Sharpie. If you have a positive year, you are in the black. Okay. If you had a negative year, you are in the red. And that fiscal year of most store companies is December 1st. So Black Friday is their last big sales surge. Usually starts the Christmas season, okay? To get companies' investments to all be in the black. Hence, Black Friday. Okay? Go ahead.
So if you buy a stock, like how quick can you sell it?
You can sell it within 15 minutes.
So if it makes like $5 to get a stock.
You can get it for $5. The problem is most of the time, so if someone was bought like one stock just for fun, right? They bought one stock, went up, they sold it. The thing is the fees of that company that you got to have you buy and sell that stock would probably be about $5. Yeah. But like you can do that. But like what people do, what day trading is basically taking a pool of money, investing, having it there for like less than a week, and then selling it off or doing it within that day. So basically, you hear about it, you believe that a stock is going to surge real quick, you throw a whole bunch of money into it, it goes up that day, you sell it off. That makes sense? The problem is the danger of that is because the exact opposite could happen, right? You hear it, you think it's gonna go right, you throw your money in there, and it drops, okay? That's the danger of day trading. The thing is, remember, if day trading was that successful, everyone would be a millionaire, right? But here we are. Here we are, okay? So what did this actual Black Friday curve look like? It looked like this. So throughout the 1920s, stocks continued to go up, 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 go up. It spikes in 28 and 29. In September, it drops significantly, but bounces back. October 20th, it drops and people panic. And if you notice right here, kind of on a micro scale, 26, 27, 28 goes down and it goes up. And people are like, okay, this is going to continue to go up. 29, single day. Okay, it drops that much. Okay?
$29?
No. It'd be like 30%.
$29?
And then people, and then basically wealthy people kind of recognizing here's a good opportunity. They're going to buy up stock, thinking it's going to work. And then there's another crash day in December, okay? And then people start trying to rebound. And again, the wealthy say, well, we're going to reinvest when it's cheap, right? Buy low, sell high. And then this is when banks start collapsing. And it just crashes. Okay, now if you look, the 32 time, okay, is less than when we started in 1920. So in 3 years, all of the gains of a decade dropped to the lower value. okay?
Did this happen again?
Yes, ish. It would have to be a very, very large crash. You'd have to have banks collapse, is what you'd have to have for this. This is what Black Friday looked like on an Excel spreadsheet. So like, it's like what you saw on Google, imagine that happening, to the point where like they have to adjust the bracket to see how far it dropped in a single day, okay? I'd like to get this down. Now, what really causes the Great Depression here is bank crisis. So kind of step one is the stocks collapse. Then the pool of money we have under the Federal Reserve takes the next step to crash. Now, if you did not know, banks do not have your money. Okay, which really sounds unnerving, right? Banks do not have your money. Banks have a percentage of your money in holding, and they have the money prepared for basically for you to do transactions. And everyone within your bank to have transactions. On average, they only hold approximately 20% of your savings. Okay? The rest of it is out for investment. When the stock market crashes, everyone panics because they see the stock of the bank drop, and they go to their banks and they try to withdraw all their life savings. When people withdraw all the life savings out of their banks, what are they now doing to that bank? They're
Taking
now
all their
killing
money.
it. They're now draining it. People think banks are extremely stable devices. They are actually extremely unstable devices. Because if they have more money pulled out of them than what they have invested, okay, the bank collapses and closes. Period. End of sentence. Okay? Which means all of their investments would then collapse, which then means you have to give up your house. You have to give up your loan. You have to give up your car, because that company that forwarded the money by the bank is no longer there. So if you had an auto loan and you didn't have the cash to pay off the remainder of that loan, and the bank collapses, you lose your car. You lose your house. If a bank collapses then, okay, and you didn't get there in time to get out your savings, it is gone. Poof. No more. There's no more savings. You are done, okay? Now, what we do have now is called the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. What that means is this. If Aaron has $20,000 in savings, good for you, okay? And his bank goes El Crapo Loco, okay? The federal government would insure him his $20,000. So the federal government would ensure that he gets his money back, okay? What's that?
I said, no, I'm just thinking how much my friends have saved. Actually might have.
According to our current FDIC, per account, you can have up to $250,000 saved by his insurance companies per account. So if Aaron had $260,000 in the account, his bank dies, he would still lose $10,000. That also does not mean if you have $5 in your savings account, the bank closes, you get $250,000. Okay, whatever you got in there, okay? You like close the bank, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, when the banks collapse, we're going to see 14,000 banks crush within this 3-year period. All that investment potential now also collapses. This is why in 2008, the federal government bought out the debt of the auto industry. Because if the auto industry collapsed, you now have you'd have an entire economy of the U.S. collapse under this recession that happened.
Do you think that was a smart idea?
Yes. Looking at the numbers now, it was actually more economically efficient for our country to buy out the debt of those banks and the car industries than it was to let them fail and have new corporations appear. Okay? Kind of stuff.
Was that during Bush's administration?
That would be at the start of Bush's administration and then into the first full year and a half of Barack Obama's administration. Okay? Yeah. So more or less, it was figured out by Congress and by the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office. It was more efficient for them to buy out the debt than it was to let them fail and have new companies appear. Because they're basically at this peak, and it would go down, and then someone else would have to start from the top. And the possibility of that would be more or less a long-term depression instead of a recession. Any other question? No, I'm not helping out.
I just went black.
No, I was just wondering, like, so, do you think people made a bunch of money, do you make a bunch of money off selling a short? Because,
No,
like, you know, how
they're
Sears,
really,
you know how
they're
Sears is
really,
now?
so the thing is, the problem with the short is this. Shorts work for short-term things because historically, the stock market only goes for options.
Okay.
So long-term on a short makes no sense because stocks historically, unless you're Twitter, it's just crushingly going down. Yeah. So like if you shorted Twitter when it hit $100 and now it's like a 20, I think it's like a $26 you would have made a lot of money, but it's a short-term. Right.
So if even though, like, if a company is doing really good, if a bunch of people just decide to short it right away, does that make it?
No, the opposite. Because here's the thing, the problem with shorts is this. You aren't actually hurting the company. The stock company is prepaying for your stock. And the premise is that you're going to pay off. That make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
Last thing that happens, I can hit the top bullet, and here's the fifth major cause of this depression, is on top of that, you have the European collapse that happens. Now, the European collapse is a couple things happen all at once. One is the debt of World War I, primarily the German reparations, the fall of the German economy, which uphold the entire Central European economy, okay? On top of that, you also have the Spanish flu epidemic from 1919 and 1922, where there basically was more jobs than people, okay? Which you'd think is a good idea, the problem is you don't have enough people running your country who are healthy to keep things moving, okay? And so how governments basically tried to make money was they increased the tariffs, making things even more expensive, causing the collapse. Now, I think I showed you this before. Like I said, just get the top bullet, you don't get anything else.
He said that.
Alright, this is what happened to Germany. Germany had hyperinflation. And don't get anything done. From September of 1921 to December of 1922, the inflation rate went to 8,000%. Okay? By the way, Zimbabwe's current inflation rate to a US dollar is at 1.5 billion to 1%.
Not too bad.
It has inflated, Zimbabwean inflation is so bad that you literally have starving billionaires. Okay? It is just bizarre. It is bizarre.
The trillionaires are gonna be.
What's that? It's almost bartering because Zimbabwe's currency is just complete crap.
Is this one up here?
But-
How far in?
So the other day when we were talking about this, you said that they had all this money, they didn't have enough money to back, they didn't have gold to back it up. What does that mean?
So, here's an example.
Boy, I got 44 gold.
New iPhone comes out. There's only 100,000 in global existence that will be named. How expensive is that phone going to be? It's gonna be expensive, right? Apple makes 2 billion phones, right? How expensive is that phone gonna be? It's not gonna be expensive, okay? Same idea here. The more gold you have for your country, the idea was in Europe and Middle East and China, the more gold you have in your country that the government controls, the more currency they can make because of the value of gold. The value of gold backs up your currency. That make sense? Prior to 1930, our currency was completely backed by gold to the point where a US dollar equaled a certain amount of ounces of gold. Okay? By 1970, under Richard Nixon, he wants to keep the Vietnam War going on, and we don't have enough gold to maintain this currency rate. So he takes us off the gold standard, so we can continue to make money to continue boosting up this economy. So currently, our US dollar is not backed by gold anymore, it's now backed off of the faith of our economy to the world.
Isn't that what caused?
And because everyone backs up the US dollar and basically looks at their country based on the US dollar, that works for us. The problem here is this, we're on top of the hill, but it's a sand hill. And the moment we fall off the sand hill, our US currency will tumble with it, because we're not the top dog anymore. Because we are the top dog economically, we can continue to do this. So we basically have a highly inflated currency. If this ever does collapse, we'd have to make a new dollar. Maybe it's blue, okay, I don't know. But
Would you consider Germany on the top of the hill too, or no?
Germany's on top of the European hill, does that make sense? And without Germany, you don't have a European Union, period. Because with potentially with Britain out of the EU as of this past week, you now are talking about having France leave as well, okay? If Germany left the European Union, they would go back to their former currency, the mark. The euro would collapse entirely, Greece is screwed. And basically Europe would hit an economic depression because of their attempted and then failure of the EU. Which would then make the US dollar actually increase in value because of that collapse. The other thing is that China was looking like they could become the next economic powerhouse, but with the way their stock market has been over the last 28 months, we still don't have a real competitor to be fearing of. So Germany's basically the great efficient economy of Europe, but they're really on a global scale, we're not intimidated yet.
Greece screwed either way because they have.
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
And then Spain too.
Yeah, Spain's in humongous trouble, Portugal's looking in trouble, Italy's on the same cost. Basically, the problem is this, because of all of their welfare systems of paying to support social security, to support their universal health care, the cost keeps getting higher and higher and higher, which means they have to keep having people increase their taxes, which then means people don't have the ability to actually make financial decisions on their own. So any problem in their economy can collapse it significantly very quick. You need people with high-paying jobs to maintain that kind of status quo that they have right now.
Is there a term for not being backed by anything?
Thanks.
There is,
In,
that would be a Patuch question, because I
Yeah,
personally don't know that one.
it's, I think it's what, fiat money or something?
It could be, yeah, it could be. Biggest thing that kind of puts kind of the final crushing blow here is the natural disaster of the Dust Bowl. So because of pioneers now living out west for 100 years and not knowing proper agricultural techniques, because most of these people are basically unprofessional farmers trying their first stake at it, they're going to destroy the farmland of the Midwest. Now you might be wondering, how bad was it? 12 inches of topsoil will die because of static electricity and tornado season. It will lift off the earth and blow into the Atlantic Ocean. And this sounds absolutely ridiculous and hyperbolic. I'll show you the pictures. It literally looks like the Sahara Desert in Kansas. It is bizarre. Yes. Oh, just top one, top one. I'm sorry, top one. Yeah, the Dust Bowl happens for approximately 8 years before our country is going to bring in topsoil from different parts of the world, replant, and then put trees at certain barriers to basically keep the soil within that area. Who's ever been in the Midwest? Like west of the Mississippi, that part? Okay? Trees? You know a lot?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Basically, it's kind of like regional trees now. What were we gonna say?
I don't know, you said who's been there, sorry, it's not here.
Right, one side. How many trees are in the Midwest?
Probably 14.
No, not a lot compared to like out east. Out east, like if you go down south, there's just tons of forest. If you go in central Pennsylvania, there's tons of forest. Out in the Midwest, you really don't see that.
You're all the city of trees.
Yes.
Well, this all used to be one big forest.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry, Bill. Sorry.
Did you tell?
Yeah, just talk. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what a dust storm looked like in active use. Sometimes this dust cloud would last between 18 to 36 hours. People would have dirt deposits in front of their windowsills. Okay? You couldn't breathe if you were outside. Yeah, people suffocated and died. Look what happened to the guy's car. Just gets covered in dust. It was a really, really awful period in the Midwest.
So what caused the big storm?
Tornadoes. So more or less, you have a whole bunch of loose topsoil that's died off and dried out. And when the tornadoes come and the static electricity, it literally picked up the topsoil that was dead and blew it across the country.
So was there like an increase in tornadoes or was it the same?
There's the same amount of tornadoes, but because of the erosion of the soil and the static electricity within the air of lightning storm tornadoes, it picked up portions of the topsoil and blew it across the country. Oh, I know, it's pretty crazy.
Why are there tornadoes anywhere else?
What's that?
There's like no tornadoes.
It's the area.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah. I'd like to get, top two bullets there. Unemployment in the United States averaged at 25% in 1933. 25%. It peaks in 1934 at 28%. So over 1 out of every 4 people are unemployed, looking for a job. Now, what I want you to recognize is this. The unemployment rate does not mean the percentage of Americans working. Okay? Currently, we have 96 million people who are not in the workforce, nearly a third of our population not in the workforce. That 96 million is a combination of people who are retired, people currently not searching for a job, or people under the age of 16. Does that make sense?
I thought kids under the age of 16 don't count
What's that?
in the labor force.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah. So there's basically 96 million people in the country who are not in the labor force statistics, okay? So when you see the unemployment rate being, I think it's right around like 6% right now. It's somewhere around this, between like 5.5 and 6, depending on the week, on the month. It's somewhere between 5.5 and 6 right now. The healthy rate for an average economy like ours, unemployment would be about 5, okay? Anything less than 5 and people are all working means there's actually a job position shortage. So luckily we don't have that. But there was 25% unemployment for immigrants and African Americans in the country at that time. You look at 50%. And people are being kicked out of their houses, kicked out of their apartments, and now you're having, in cities, you have shanty towns. Trying to think, what's the, yeah.
Weren't there also like Hoovervilles?
It's what shanty towns were nicknamed because of Herbert Hoover. Yeah, Hoovervilles, yeah. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Who wants to go to a Hooverville? You know, like that, yeah. I'm gonna actually show you a couple pictures on the side. You all good? Good? Yeah. Here's the one I showed you before. This is what it looks like in Arizona. Downtown Pittsburgh. 2.5 mile Chicago bread line.
It is in.
Took people 2 days to get food and water in the line. Yeah. It would open up at 8 a.m. and it would close at 8 p.m. And if you didn't get there by 8 p.m., you stayed there overnight. Yeah. Here's a stockbroker who's selling all his Rolls Royce. Here's a poncho that people would wear. Now, what's Herbert Hoover, the president, doing at this time? He believes in what's called bootstrap economics. I'm going to get that top bullet down. Now, what is bootstrap economics? Does anyone know what is laissez-faire economics? What does that mean?
It's like you stay out of it.
Government stays out of it, lets business do business, okay? Now, here's the problem with the business doing business. Business needs, to a point, to be checked and to be watched over, okay? And the issue here is the federal government in this era, especially with the 20s presidents, they specifically do not watch over this. And because of it, the economy continues to crash. Hoover tries to steer the depression like it's a boat instead of like a car. And remember, with a boat, you're kind of drifting, okay? With a car, you're more active in your steering. And Hoover lets this continue on because of laissez-faire economics. Now, is laissez-faire economics bad? No, it's not bad. That's essentially our business economy. But you also have to make sure that there's kind of caps and barriers here, okay? This is why we don't want monopolies. All right, we'll continue on tomorrow, guys.
Should we say?